Hey everybody, it's Becky. I finally have power and Wi-Fi and I'm awake. So I don't know about you, but cabin fever has set in for me. I am ready to be anywhere but here right now. And so I have also been out shoveling driveways. And so my shoulders are hurting, my back is achy, my hamstrings are tight. I just thought I would hop on here and try to connect with a few people and see if maybe we could do a flow together. I'm going to use my sticky mat and a block and potentially a strap. I know that these are traditionally found in our studio, but if you have a big book, the big book will help raise the floor back up to you. And if you have a scarf or a belt or anything else like that, that will help you reach your feet. So take a second, go grab those things if you want to practice with me. Come on in, Pup. Pup says hi. He's really over this winter weather too. We've kind of had it. We've decided we're more summer kids than winter kids. Yeah. So, okay, go lay down. Go lay down. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. Coming into Sukhasana, heels in line with the groin. Start to rock side to side, feeling those sit bones connect with the ground. Bringing the shoulders up to the ears, waterfalling the shoulder blades down the back. Doing that a couple more times. And starting to pretend there's a string on the top of your head pulling you just a little bit taller. Closing the eyes if that feels safe, and if that doesn't feel safe, just lower the gaze down to the ground. Just taking the next few breaths, coming into the now. Just start to notice, where does the breath want to go today? Is it stuck up in the heart space? Is it clear up in the collarbones with lots of anxiety attached to it? Is it flowing down to the abdomen but not quite with the ease we're hoping for? No need to change it just yet, just notice. And slowly start to deepen that breath, bringing the breath down into the abdomen and up into the heart space, all the way up to the collarbones, and then exhaling down through the collarbones, down through the heart space, down through the low abs. Staying here for 5 more breaths. Inhale, expand. Exhale, release. And bringing the hands to Anjali, heart center, pressing the thumbs into the sternum. Take just a moment to set a sankalpa or an intent for your practice today. Exhale, release the hands to the knees, drop the chin to the chest. Inhale the ear to one shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Inhale, ear to opposite shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. Continue with this a few more times, starting to warm up that neck. And when your ear finds one shoulder, go ahead and hold it there. Walk the opposite arm away from the body. Start to get into these scalenes, these neck muscles. Maybe bring your free hand up and over, maybe not. Breathe in here. A lot of our shoulda, woulda, couldas live here. I should have gone and done that. I wish I would have done that. Breathing into these areas, allowing the tension to leave. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up, switching sides, drawing the ear to the opposite shoulder. Walk the arm away from the body. Maybe bring the free hand up and over. Breathe in here. And walking the hand behind the body just a little bit more. Inhale, lift up. Bringing that thumb up towards the ceiling, bring it right between the shoulder blades any way that it gets there. Drop the ear to the opposite shoulder. Start to get into those scalenes one more time. Taking some deep breaths here. Exhale, release, switching sides. Inhale the thumb up. Exhale, bring it right between the shoulder blades any way that it gets there. Drop the ear to the opposite shoulder. Inhale, lift up, bring the hands to the knees. Exhale, that heart space forward. Inhale, start to make some soupy circles, warming up that spine, getting into those hips a little bit. Noticing what's available this morning and what's not, what's achy, what's feeling some of that stagnation of the cold. When you come to a back of a soupy circle, switch directions. And slowly start to tighten up those circles, making your way back to stillness. Inhale the arms up overhead. Exhale, twist to one side. Drishti follows that back shoulder. Breathe in here. I'm going to invite you to stay here, but lift up a little taller. Exhale, twist just a little deeper. Inhale back to center. Exhale, twist opposite side. Drishti follows that back shoulder. And then staying here, inhale, lift up a little bit taller. Exhale, twist a little deeper. Inhale, back to center. We're going to roll over our shins and come into tabletop. So in tabletop, our knees are roughly hips distance apart. Our joints are stacked. We're going to round the back, look down at the belly for cat. Sink the belly. Tip the head up for cow. A few more. Start to let your breath start to carry you here. And then coming into cat, holding cat for 3 deep breaths. And sinking the belly, tipping the head up, 3 deep breaths. Coming back to a neutral spine, drawing the shoulder back towards the hip, look back towards the tail. Finding the lengthening, creating space in the body. Coming back to center, switching sides. And coming back to center. From here, we're going to start to load up all the weight into one hand, lifting the opposite arm up towards the ceiling. From here, take this extended arm, thread it through, drop the shoulder and the temple onto the ground. Sink the hips back just a little bit and start to walk your hand to the top of the mat, lengthening through the shoulders, lengthening through the low back. Taking 3 deep breaths here. We're going to take that extended arm, bring it back underneath the shoulder, push yourself back up into tabletop, switching sides. Inhale the opposite arm up. Exhale, thread the arm through. Place the shoulder and the temple onto the ground. Bring the hips back just a little bit and creepy crawl the hand to the top of the mat. Breathe in here, 3 deep breaths. Bring that hand back underneath the shoulder. Push yourself back up into tabletop one more time here. We're going to extend one leg back behind us. Rest the ball of the foot onto the ground. Sink all the way into that back heel, really starting to get into that calf. just making sure the core is still awake. Today we're going to push the floor away and lift that knee up, starting to activate that core, those core muscles. Breathe in here, extend out through the neck. And placing the knee back on the ground, lift that back leg and extend the opposite arm out in front. Toes face down, thumb faces up, bird dog. Breathe in here. And if that feels good, maybe bend that back knee, catch the back foot, and float the foot up into the hand. Exhale, release. We're going to switch sides. Extend the opposite leg back behind you. Rest on the ball of the foot. Sink all the way into the heel. Breathe in here. And lifting that back leg, extend, nope, I lied. Starting to push the floor away, lifting that knee. Breathe in here. Hello, abs. Exhale, release, lift that back leg, reach out through the heel, reach out with the opposite arm. Breathe in here, bird dog. And bending that back knee, catching the back foot, floating the foot up into the hand. Exhale, release. Bring the toes together, the knees out wide, sink the hips back to meet the heels. Walk the hands forward. Rest the third eye onto the ground. Balasana, child's pose. And from child's pose, keep the hands right where they are. Start to lift the hips, turn the toes under, float the hips back. Downward facing dog. Starting to paddle out the feet, walk the dog, breathe in here. Finding just a little bit of stillness. Notice how the hamstrings feel. Notice how the shoulders feel. Notice the breath. And walking the feet up to meet the hands, hinge at the waist, fold forward. Maybe grab your block and bring your block so that it'll raise the floor up to you. Maybe not. Depends on what your body needs today. Either way, release the tension in the neck. Hinge at the waist, fold forward, breathe in here. And walking the hands over to one side, lengthen the side body. And walking the hands to the opposite side, lengthening the side body. And coming back to center, we're going to plant one hand onto a block or onto the floor. Bend the same knee as the hand you just planted and float the opposite arm up into the sky, getting into those hamstrings. Exhale, release, switching sides, plant the hand, bend the knee, floating the opposite arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe in here. Exhale, release. We're going to roll up vertebrae by vertebrae, coming to stand into Tadasana. From Tadasana, roll those shoulder blades down the back, close the eyes for just a minute, and just start to notice how it feels to be connected to the earth below you today. Noticing the breath. Inhale the arms up overhead, upward salute. Exhale, lean back just a little bit, opening up the chest. Inhale back to center, bringing the hands down to Anjali, heart center. We're going to step back with one foot, doesn't matter which, because we're going to do both sides. Parallel that back foot to the back of your mat. Front foot Knee is aligned with the middle two toes. Arms come out at shoulder height. Virabhadrasana 2. Warrior 2. Find your strength here. Bringing the elbow to the knee. Engage that top arm. Extended side angle. Taking the arm down the back leg. Reverse your warrior. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana 2. Interlace the fingers behind the back, roll those shoulder blades down the back again, hinge at the waist, fold forward, humble warrior. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana 2. Bringing the hands to the hips, parallel the feet, hinge at the waist, fold forward, wide angle, forward fold. Bringing the weight back into the heels, extending the glutes out behind you. Walk those hands back behind you, really getting into those hamstrings. Lots of deep breaths here. Walking the hands back to center. We're going to plant one hand right under the shoulder. Float the opposite arm up towards the ceiling. Breathe in here. Exhale, release, switching sides. Exhale, come back to center. We're going to walk the hands over to one side. Find an ankle, a shin, a side of the foot. Rest the weight back in the heels. Lengthen through the side body. Lengthen through the hamstrings. Taking some deep breaths. And walking the hands to the opposite side. Find the ankle, the shin, the side of the foot. Lengthen and breathe. Finding that space today. And coming back to center, bring the hands to the hips, lift up, flat back. The foot that we were facing last time, we're going to leave right there, so it's going to stay parallel to the front of our mat. We're going to pivot on the heel, open up into Virabhadrasana 2, facing the back of the mat. Breathe in here, find your strength, find your power. Bringing the elbow to the knee, engage the top arm, extended side angle. Taking the arm down the back leg, reverse your warrior. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana 2. We're going to interlace the fingers behind the back, roll the shoulder blades down the back, hinge at the waist, fold forward, humble warrior. Inhale, lift up, Virabhadrasana 2. Bringing the hands to the hips, parallel the feet once again. From here, we're going to hinge at the waist, fold forward, wide angle, forward fold. Bring the two peace fingers to the big toe. Inhale, lift up, flat back, activated halfway lift. Breathe in here. Exhale, release, walk the hands back behind the body one more time. Bring the hands to the hips, lift up, flat back. We're going to heel toe the feet back together. Opening the arms up wide like a T. We're going to cross the arms in front. Give ourselves a big bear hug. Lift those elbows up. Hinge at the waist. Fold forward. Contracting the navel back towards the spine. Inhale, lift up, flat back. Notice what arm is on top. Open up wide again. Reverse the cross of the arms. Lift up at the elbows. Hinge at the waist. Fold forward. Inhale, lift up, flat back. Maybe you're going to stay with the bear hug. Maybe open those arms up wide like a T. Cross the arms at the elbows, stacking the elbows. Bring the back of the hands together like so, and lift up through the elbows here. If this feels good, maybe flip the palms so the palms are touching. Either way, we're going to bring the feet about hips distance apart, lift up through the elbows, and And then hinge at the waist, fold forward, getting into the hamstrings and the tops of the shoulders. All those places that are so sore after doing snow for a few days. And keeping those elbows lifted, inhale, lift up. We're going to open the arms up wide like a T and reverse the cross of the arms, coming into our version of bear hug or eagle arms on the opposite side. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, hinge at the waist, fold forward. Inhale, lift up, release the arms, shake it out. How are you feeling out there? Hopefully good. We're going to want to have a strap handy here in just a moment and potentially a block. I'm not sure how far away the floor is for you today. We're going to start by grounding down all four corners of those beautiful yogi feet and spreading out those beautiful yogi toes. Finding a drishti 3 to 4 feet ahead of you on the floor. You're going to bring the ankle of the other leg onto your thigh. Flex that foot to protect the knee. Energetically drive the knee back behind you. Bring the hands to heart center and start to hinge at the waist, folding forward, coming into a standing four pose. Maybe you bring your hands to a block. Keep in mind your block has 3 levels. Maybe you bring your hands to the floor. Release the tension out of the neck. Breathe in here. Putting a small bend in the standing leg. Inhale, lift up, shake it out. We're going to switch sides. Bring the ankle of the opposite leg onto your supporting foot. Flex the foot to protect the knee. Energetically drive the knee back behind you. Bring the hands to Anjali Heart Center. Start to fold over, standing four pose. Using the props that you need today. Put a small bend in that supporting leg. Inhale, lift up, shake it out. So coming back to those eagle arms, we're going to play with full eagle. So in full eagle, you go ahead and find your drishti 3 to 4 feet ahead of you. We're going to open those arms up wide like a T, start to come back into those eagle arms. Then we're going to inhale, one knee up, wrap that foot around your supporting leg, lift up through the elbows, hinge at the waist, fold forward, finding the stretch in the low back across the shoulders, and the balancing pose. Now, if you have the range of motion, feel free to wrap your foot around your calf. I'm simply not built that way. Inhale, lift up, shake it out. Last one on this side, let's switch sides. Find your foundation here, find your drishti. Reversing the cross of the arms, coming into eagle arms on the opposite side, crossing the leg over, lifting those elbows up, lean forward. Inhale, lift up, shake it out. Bringing the feet together, we're going to come up onto the balls of the feet, bring the hands to heart center. Keeping those legs together, we're going to start to bend the knees, sinking the hips down to the heels, toe balancing pose. Taking 2 or 3 deep breaths here. And then coming down onto the sit bones, extending the legs out in front. Maybe go ahead and remove the flesh away from the sit bones. Inhaling up nice and tall, create the space in the spine, hinge at the waist, fold forward, Paschimottanasana. Roll the shoulder blades down the back, create the space. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Are we all thinking warm thoughts out there? I'm ready to be back in studio. Yes. Inhale, lift up. We're going to take the ankle from one leg and bring it onto the opposite thigh. Flex the foot to protect the knee. Energetically drive the knee down to activate the hip flexor. Lift up tall, hinge at the waist, fold forward, seated pigeon pose. Inhale, lift up. We're going to switch sides. Inhale, create that space. Exhale, hinge at the waist, fold forward, seated pigeon. Inhale, lift up, bringing the soles of the feet together in Baddha Konasana. Open up those knees nice and wide, lift up through the spine. Then you're going to hinge at the waist, fold forward, getting into the hips, getting into the low back, breathing here. And walking those hands back. Keeping a block handy, we're going to go ahead and grab our straps or our scarves or our belts or our beach towels or whatever it is we're using today. Go ahead and plant the soles of the feet on the ground. Find those sit bones. Roll the shoulder blades down the back. We're going to extend the arms to the side, palms face up, lift those legs up halfway. Breathe in here. If you're at home, you can sing Row, Row, Row Your Boat. I will spare you my singing voice. That is an in-studio treat only. Exhale, plant the feet, hold the shins, rock side to side. Coming into two more of those, roll the shoulder blades down the back, engage the arms, inhale, lift up, breathe, breathe, breathe. And while you're here in boat, notice where your heart space is pointed. Are you collapsing down? Or are you doing the Care Bear stare here? Really lift that heart space up. Open it up today, guys. Exhale, plant the soles of the feet on the ground, hug the knees, rock side to side. This is our last boat. Finding those sit bones one last time. Engage the arms. Inhale, lift up. Care Bear stare, guys. Breathe, breathe, breathe. And when you've had enough of that, go ahead and plant the feet on the ground. Hug the shins. We're going to start to lower down onto our back, vertebrae by vertebrae, till the abdomen cannot hang on anymore. Grabbing our strap or our belt or our scarf or anything else, we're going to place the strap under the arch of one foot, lift that foot up towards the ceiling, starting to lead with that heel. Hamstring stretch. Maybe your supporting leg is bent. Maybe your supporting leg is straight. That is yogi's choice. It is whatever is best for your body today. And then hanging on to the strap, open the leg out to the side, getting into the hip. Remember, hips and shoulders stay on the floor for this one. Inhale the foot back to center, reaching for the strap with the opposite hand. Cross that foot across the midline. IT band stretch. Both shoulder blades stay on the ground. Inhale the foot back to center. We're going to switch sides, bringing the strap under the arch of the opposite foot. Lift that foot up towards the ceiling. Breathe in here, hamstring stretch. And remember, your supporting leg can be bent or straight, yogi's choice. And open the leg out to the side, getting into the hip, kicking the house plants, you know, the little things. And bringing the foot back to center, transfer the strap in the opposite hand, cross the foot across the midline, IT band stretch. Inhale the foot back to center. We're going to bend both knees. Plant the soles of the feet on the ground. Open the arms up wide like a T. Inhale the knees up to the chest. And exhale, drop the knees down to the floor, really letting the knees relax on the ground. And start to let that back shoulder melt into the floor, finding some space in the low back. And inhale the knees back to center. Exhale, opposite side. Getting into that low back. Inhale the knees back to center. We're going to plant the soles of the feet onto the ground. If you have your block or your book or whatever, go ahead and grab that now. We're going to come flat onto the back again. Walk the heels back towards our glutes. I like to use the mama bear level. It doesn't feel super intense to me, but it still gives me a stretch. So start with the mama bear, but if that's too much, know that you can go down to baby bear or you can go up to papa bear. It's what your body needs. We're going to put the weight in the heels, lift the hips, slip the books or the block underneath the hips here. Walk the shoulder blades down the back. Create that space between the ears and the shoulders. Breathing in here. Starting to let that low back kind of relax. Staying here for 3 more deep breaths. We're going to put all the way into the heels, lift the hips, take the block away. Hugging the knees up to the chest, make yourself into a small ball, starting to roll up and down the mat. On the 3rd or 4th roll, go ahead and come to a seated position. From here, we're going to grab our block or our book and bring it to the top of the mat. We're going to come onto our abdomens, onto the belly here. From the belly, you're going to walk the hand across the body towards one side of your mat. And you're going to cross the opposite arm in the opposite direction. Grab down the hips, the toes point in towards each other, and the heels relax out. And then you're just going to lower the forehead down to the block, really stretching out those shoulders. And staying here, you're going to take the arm that is in front, release it, and thread it back behind, reversing the cross of the arms. Adjust as necessary. Release the forehead down to a block. Breathe in here. And then taking a second to uncross the arms. We're going to remove the block off the mat, coming flat onto the abdomen, walk the hands down the body, turn the cheek down to one side, closing the eyes here. Coming into a prone savasana, final resting pose. And laying in savasana for just as long as your body needs today. Make sure during this winter time when we're all shut down here in Washington that you're taking time to refill your love cup. I mean, we have a lot to do here in society. We all work, we all have families, we have friends, we're kind of pulled in multiple directions. So really use this time of snow for pratyahara, for that inward direction, closing the eyes, going inward, meditating, reading, taking that time for you. I know if you have littles at home, it's really hard, but take this time to replenish you because soon enough, the snow is going to be gone. And soon enough, we're all going to be back to working long days and having no time for ourselves. I am hoping that power and Wi-Fi stays on and that I can hop on here tonight. And I'm hoping beyond hope that the studio will be open tomorrow and everything will be on schedule for this weekend. Thank you all for your patience. Take time to breathe today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.